Do you expect to get an ROI on these sort of events or these? These tables are expensive, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're not just like a few £100, they're thousands. So, and we mentioned offline about other events where you're spending X £1,000 and you might get put up and there might be leads there. But do you expect to get an ROI or do you measure it?
I think ones where, like, if we do an exhibition or where you're actually expected to get leads, then yes, we do. I think it's really important to make an informed decision as to whether we do it. I suppose that's one of the benefits of having 3 brands, is that we're able to have multiple different conversations. 100% measure it. Doing something like the awards, I think that's just something you've got to take, and you go along, and as they say, it's the taking part that counts.
Rowan, this come right up to date now in 2023, because I asked you onto the show, and I think you've been a great guest, and I was keen to get a smaller business with 3 brands. So I think it's unusual for the listeners to hear. What are you seeing as the biggest challenges facing the technology industry from your particular 3 brands? What are you seeing in the market at the moment?
I think a lot of people, over the course of the beginning of this year, people have talked about the macroeconomic impact. I feel if I look at our last quarter, we had a really, really good quarter across all 3 brands. So I feel when you're looking at multiple partners who are performing, that we're coming out the other side of that. I think in terms of the challenges is there's a load out there that you could go out and sell. Everybody's trying to put in. It's about for us then, trying to nail down, being quite specific, no scattergun of what it is, and sticking to a couple of things that we're good at, and allowing our partners to be good at that. I think there are, and when I talk about a lot of our partners, you've got their challenges are either, how do they grow next? You've got a load of people where you're either really good at new business or you're really good at farming a base. Very rarely do you get like the two mixing in between. So I think it's making sure we cater for both of those. But ultimately, a lot of people try different things, but it's understand where your strengths are and maximising them, and at the same point where your weaknesses are, and trying to change it, or accept, what, if I can't change it, stop trying, because the ROI on that is minimal.
Where do you think the biggest opportunity is for Enable X? Which 3 brands are the one you think there's a big opportunity in 2023 for this particular brand or this sector of the market?
I'm obviously going to say all, because it's a bit like asking me which one my favourite one is again. But I think in terms of where we're looking from a Candio perspective, 100%, we're looking at adding a cybersecurity product onto that. Obviously very topical. Yeah. And I think with the way the mechanics and the customer base that we've got, and the opportunity within our base, I think that's great for our customer, because we're going to do what we do best, which is simplificationism, right? We're going to make sure it's easy to do, and then we've got a load of professional services across all of the Techland and Pragma piece. So nailing that down and offering that out to the base to be able to utilise that is probably key.
And one of my last questions is now, in 2023, what are your thoughts on the future of technology? You mentioned security there, which is a big hot topic at the moment. AI seems to be a big topic at the moment. ChatGPT. Where do you see the industry going over the next 12 months? Where's the opportunity?
Well, I don't want to go down the ChatGPT route, because that just does everything for you, right? I think
you won't have a job.
I tell you, I played around with that stuff. It's amazing, isn't it? I can't believe it wrote me a business plan for 5 years within 30 seconds. I think it's an education, isn't it? And I think, again, there's multiple different segments of our market that have got different needs. The 0 to 15, the 15 plus, and then you've got the enterprise, and we cater across all of them. I think just understanding there's loads of opportunity, loads of threat, but we've just got to embrace it all. And I think AI, and it's always the things that are talked about, like AI, ChatGPT, but it's how do you make it real? I think one of the things we are really looking at is just sort of like doing a true deeper API integration across all of our businesses.
Okay.
So how do you actually, all of these things people talk about, what is then that is real, and then what do you do about it? Because, you know, talk's cheap, it's about doing something about it. So for us, as across the 3 brands, it's looking at greater APIs and being able to just integrate more things, but then narrow that field down to know, when I talk about where the strength is, but what's the market requirement, and then just nailing it down. But you know, that's the threat, is the opportunity, but you got to embrace it all because it's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a closing tradition, Rowan, on the podcast now, about the previous guests will suggest and name a future guest who they think has either inspired them, or they've worked with, or they've been a partner, or they worked at a vendor, or they've worked somewhere in the channel. You think, do you know what, they've really inspired me and they'd be a great future guest. So is there anyone that you think you'd like to see the channel should be listening to?
Oh, wow.
Not to put you on the spot, but...
I'll tell you, I'm going to go for, he's the ex-CEO of, the ex-CEO of Gamma, a guy called Bob Faulkner, who was fantastic and was a huge part of Gamma's growth. He would be really interesting and be a fantastic guest if you could get him.
Yeah, we will get him now, you said it.
Yeah.
Brilliant, Rowan, you've been a great guest. Thanks
Cheers,
so much for your time.
Thanks for your time.